Remember when last video I said that I'd gained weight over a certain period of time during which a lot of people gained weight? Well, in the last month or so I lost it. So let's make some spaghetti. Basically, I cut out most carbs that came from breads and things like spaghetti, and I haven't had spaghetti in about a month and a half now, so I want some. Because I am almost completely incapable of thought, I want to make something simple. And what is more simple than spaghetti? A lot of things. A lot of things are more simple than spaghetti. Tuna from a can, for instance. Just mix it up with some mayonnaise and stick it on some Melba toast and you've got yourself a lunch. Or soup, just stick it in a pot. You got yourself a lunch. But because I've been on a diet for a month and a half or something, I haven't had spaghetti in a long time. So I want that. You could shut the hell up if you think that I should have otherwise. The problem is that since I haven't had spaghetti in a long time, I think that my father has forgotten that I eat it, because he hasn't given me spaghetti sauce in a long time. So I don't have a father anymore, but I do have something just as good, and that is a jar of butter chicken sauce. You might be wondering why I have a jar of butter chicken sauce when I'm talking about spaghetti. Well, the answer is that I figured out one day in a delirious haze that butter chicken sauce is almost all tomato. And it's a sauce, and it spreads really evenly upon, say, something like slippery noodles. And so I wondered, why haven't people started using it as a spaghetti sauce? Tastes arguably better than a lot of spaghetti sauces. It is both tomato and cream, so you don't have to deal with the question in your mind of, should I have a tomato sauce or a cream sauce? It is already both, and it has spices. But the thing is, I put it off. I thought, certainly there must be something wrong with the concept, because I've seen it nowhere. I've seen them put curry sauce on pizza, on poutine, on, well, Indian food, certainly, I think, but I had yet to see it on spaghetti. And so I thought, well, there must be something wrong. Perhaps when you place it on top of the spaghetti, it explodes, or it has a harsh reaction like ammonia and bleach, or it just doesn't taste good. And so I put it off like a coward. And then one day I thought, I only live once on this earth, and if I'm going to die, what better way than some strange spaghetti butter chicken reaction that destroys me? And so I bought a jar of butter chicken sauce, and I put it on my spaghetti, and I discovered that it tastes okay. It tastes like butter chicken sauce on spaghetti, and I like those two things. So it works, and it's from a jar, so I don't have to do any work, and that's the important thing. You might be wondering, it's in a jar, why not just get spaghetti sauce, you lunatic? And to that I answer, I've never done it before, so I just haven't yet. Plus, I suppose I would think that it was an insult to my father that I don't use his spaghetti sauce. And like, yeah, I could buy spaghetti sauce from a jar, but I've had bad experiences before, especially with organic. And I know you might be noticing, but Julia, this isn't organic. And to that I say, let's make some spaghetti. So, butter chicken spaghetti. You might be thinking, this isn't very diet. And to that I say, neither is spaghetti, so go away. It's actually not that bad, I don't care. So the first thing that we have to do is open the jar. That's a lie. The first thing we have to do is a lot of other stuff, but I like opening jars and I actually want to see if this is even good butter chicken sauce. So we have to try this first. You might be thinking, well, what are you going to do? You do not have a man to open this jar, so I guess you're just going to have to starve. And to that I say, I've never had a problem opening jars, because if I can't open it, I use the spoon trick. I mean, I've rarely had a jar that I can't open by myself anyway, because I take pride in just doing something, even if it hurts me, just to prove that I can do it. I will sweat and toil and swear and make everyone uncomfortable while I try to open a jar until I do it. But if I want to just be a normal person and not obnoxious, I will open it using the spoon method. So let's say, for argument's sake, that I cannot open this jar. I can. So what you do, and it can be a spoon, it can be a knife, it can be anything that you can whack. And so you take the spoon, and you take a sip of coffee, and you take your jar. You hold your jar. You pat your jar to get it prepared for the beating it's about to have. And then you take your spoon and you just whack it. Whack, whack, whack. All the way around the jar. Doesn't take that much effort. A child could do this. Probably a newborn baby could do this. And then at this point, so let's give this butter chicken sauce a good old sniff. Well, it smells like butter chicken. Let's get some lid action here. Yep, it tastes good. Well, I guess it's a little spicy, but I find pepper spicy. So we'll put that aside and we can get started on the next part. Since we're doing diet spaghetti, should I put vegetables in it? Yes. Am I going to? It depends if I can find it in the fridge. Can you see me? Well, I found some broccoli. There used to be cauliflower in here. I don't think it's the same cauliflower that I had 2 years ago, but I wouldn't have been surprised if that still was in my fridge. And I have a bag of broccoli and cauliflower mix for the lazy cook. I've been avoiding this clump of frozen broccoli for every single time that I've used this, and now basically I just have bits and the broccoli clump. And guess what? I'm still gonna ignore it. Ideally, we would have cauliflower for this kind of thing, but I don't have any. So I guess we can either use broccoli or I could just do nothing. Let's be healthy. So I guess the first thing that I better do is get the water and place it on the stove. Turn that f***er on, and then we can move on to the broccoli portion. So this is kind of a different video from last time because I'm using broccoli. Remember when I said I was on a diet? Well, last night I ate an entire pint of Haagen-Dazs. It's an interpretation of a diet. First thing you're going to do is grab a fun little knife. It doesn't have to be a fun knife, it can be a boring knife. Chop off the amount of broccoli you want, and then chop them into the sizes that are best for your mouth. And there we have it. That might actually be a little bit too much. The good thing about cooking as an adult is that give that a little scrub-a-dub. Who knows what kind of bullshit's on this broccoli. And then you're just gonna grab your little pot and place it. Don't forget to salt your water. Just put a good old handful in there. Of course, you probably remember this from before. I know I'm kind of being patronizing to assume that you don't remember my couple of years ago video on how to make spaghetti. But this is for the kidlets who perhaps haven't seen the original version. Okay, we're done with the broccoli. Now, let's measure out the spaghetti. So last time, I probably had capellini, which is my favorite kind of spaghetti because it cooks the quickest. Now I just have crappy old spaghettini, which is a little bit thinner than spaghetti, but still not good enough to satiate my disgusting hunger fast enough. We'll just have to deal with it because life gives you obstacles. And sometimes that obstacle is spaghetti that doesn't cook quick enough. But you know what? I found out the other day that I was right about something, and I wasn't just being paranoid. Remember that scale that I talked about in my last video on how it was lying to me over the years?
So let's talk about this scale. This scale was my friend. This scale is at least 1/3 wrong. I don't know why, because it's consistently wrong.
I was right. And so I bought myself a new scale. And it's pretty. It looks like it's made out of wood, but likely it's made out of plastic. And the good thing about it is that it measures your food and upon the display reads out the correct weight. Now I know not a lot of scales do that, but this one does. And I think that's pretty cool. Since I've been going so long with my bastardized measurement of spaghetti, I actually have to look at the back of a spaghetti box to see how much I get. I get 85 grams dry, and that's a real 85 grams. Before I would have to do 60 or something to accommodate for my terrible scale. I'm not used to the luxury. That's 86.7, that's 85 in Newfoundland. Okay, my spaghetti's already burbling, so I'm just gonna, and then we can start cooking our this. What I have to do, because I usually have my phone as my timer, is I have to not use my phone as my timer because I'm using it as my recording device. So I have to time everything so that I can use my microwave. You could be saying, you have a clock, I can hear it in the background. And to that I say, I don't like clocks because they don't yell at me when it's time for me to do things. So we have our spaghetti. Our water is starting to boil, and we're just gonna add that oil. We're just gonna put this away because I don't need it anymore. Now, when you have a pot that's entirely too small for your spaghetti, do you break it? No. because you never know who could be listening. What you do instead is you toil and you swear and you just struggle until it's in the pot. Place it in. I just realized I should have had a mitt on, but it is too late now. You press it in until it hurts too much and then you let up. And then you press it in until it hurts too much and then you let up. Ow! Now you're gonna try to curl it in. If anybody has any better methods of doing this, please let me know because I do not know. And then you just turn it with your fork and you just pray. Here we go. We're bending, and look at that. It's still not in there. And no, there's still one. And there we go. See, easy peasy. Ow. Now you put a timer on for 9 minutes. 9 whole minutes. Damn. And you can put on your terrible part of your meal as well. It can be done before this because then you can eat some and then you don't have to deal with it. Now we can measure out the better parts of our meal. The cheese and the sauce. Don't forget, like I often do, to stir your spaghetti. Here's our old friend. I know that having cheese on butter chicken sauce is a little bit odd, but so is butter chicken sauce on spaghetti. And I love my cheese, so sue me. I don't think I need anything in here. I think this is cheese. Yes. I know what you're thinking. Your next video was supposed to be a taste test between Pizza Pops and Pizza Pockets. Where is that? Well, the answer is I was hoping to do that on the roof, and it's kind of rainy today. So let's do our cheese. This is very old. You need a little bit of a... Ouchie. We're good. We're gonna try to slice a little bit of this old stuff off so that I can get some traction. Ow. I think we can start it now. Yes, we're getting some snow. Are you guys excited for snow? I loved snow until I started driving. I did make myself bleed. But what season do I prefer, I hear you asking? I prefer fall, kind of. I prefer the fall days that you imagine when you say fall. The ones with the leaves and the autumnal colors and wearing a fancy scarf with a pea coat and cute boots. That is the fall I like. The fall I do not like is the fall of the Pacific Northwest, where every day is raining and all of your boots have mud on them. Once in a while we do get those perfect days, but it's very rare. I'm not actually getting a ton of cheese out of this. Ow. Now that might look like a lot, but this is so soft and snowy that it's not as much as if the cheese weren't hard as a rock. We are 2 minutes from this spaghetti being ready. We can you know, do the thingy with the sauce. Place it in a thing that tells us how much we've placed. Measure. All right, we're gonna give it a little bit of a stir and a place to live until I evict it. Since it was out of the fridge, we do not need to heat up the sauce. Normally I would put it in with the vegetables to heat up a touch. Speaking of vegetables, they're probably overcooked. They are. I have 19 seconds to drain my vegetables. And also get my colander out. Oh dear. Oh, I'm out of shape. It could use another minute. Yeah, dang it. I just got some old ice cream water in it. Oh wow. I never said that this was a healthy meal. Since we're doing diet spaghetti, then we're going to bring out our bowl. It can be any bowl because we are going to put our broccoli, into the bowl to cool off a bit. Good enough. That's broccoli. Ow. Quarter cup really goes a long way, and so you might need to rest it like a steak so that it's not so tired it can't be eaten. That's it. I'm gonna eat it now. And you can suck it. So I just had my spaghetti. During the summer, we had probably one of the worst heat waves that my area has ever seen. We had to upgrade our cooling systems, and sometimes that just meant buying a fan. And I had to lend my big fan to my Nana, who did not have a fan because she didn't see the need for one before now, and all the stores were out because everybody had bought the fan. So I lent her my fan, and in turn, my father lent me their fan. This fan is, it's a little bit stronger than the one I had before. This is it, and I'm going to put it on the lowest setting. Now I want you to remember the cheese that I grated. On the bright side, I can put less calories in my calorie counter app. It's about an hour after I ate my healthy spaghetti meal, and my brother arrives at my door with 20 cream puffs. I'm going to eat most of them.